nom nom. So that's for food. Oh, hello. That was fast. How do you do? You are now entering level 4. Anyway, actually, this might be level 4. I don't remember. Martyr's Crossing. This bridge connects to the Hab to the Magistrate's Bastion. It's been heavily fortified against the demonic invasion, but is no longer under Imperial control. Push forward and clear it. The Vortex Grenade tears a hole between real space and the warp. Beware its devastating power. Alright. Well, hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Warhammer 40,000 Boltgun. Last time was the first episode, and boy, oh boy. Progress forwards. No, I'm doing my intro. Bridge provides optimal route to near Bastion. Imperial sentries inactive. So something I didn't realize until I looked at a trading card that I got from in Steam was that apparently, so the blue horrors is what they're called. They're actually I kind of assumed that they were Nurgle related, but apparently they're Tzeentch. They're Tzeentch boys, which I guess kind of makes sense because they do look a bit like weird and mutated and monstrosities and stuff. Ammo here. Yeah, I know. Way ahead of you, buddy. Oh. Oh, yep, there's a blue whore. Brother, get the flamer. Huh, was he like downed or something? Like even though he wasn't like dead all the way? How interesting. Ah! Man, oh man. I hate what you've done to the place. Yeah, that's right. Talking about you. Ooh, here's plasma ammo. Ah! That's mostly just a parody of, like, you know, what people say, you know, I love what you've done to the place. Oh, that's a pink horror. Which is like, does the old Hydra principle. Cut off one head, two shall take its place. Alright. And, like halfway through, like last episode, like the first episode, we, Hey man, you missed all the fun. Containers obfuscate progress. Oh, really? We discovered that, howdy, neighbor. There are some levels or segments in certain levels, like where they're telling you, purge the area, and those are like pretty hard. Yeah. There you are. Like, keep up, Scully boy. Why is it that we're always helping out Adeptus Mechanicus, folks, or like the places that we end up going, like to help out, end up always being like related to the Adeptus Mechanicus in some way, shape, or form? Can y'all hold it together for like 5 seconds? I thought you guys were supposed to be like the technology experts and all that. Okay, so you know how I was talking about how like, so like in Warhammer you have all these different like representations of evil and like epitomes of different kinds of evil and such, and I mentioned how like the Tyranids are sort of like the epitome of natural evil, just like, the groans of creation, as it were, and just attacking the creation attacking itself, and just like the horrors thereof and stuff. I guess you could say the Adeptus Mechanicus, the kind of evil they are, is like science without moral restraint. Because, they're always about the quest for knowledge, right? And more or less they have like, their only compass is knowledge. They have no like, they seemingly have no like real moral compass. And so, if their research requires them to meddle with the warp or things of that nature, I'm sure it'll be fine, I mean, after all, yeah, it's like, so quest for knowledge, like, that's like capitalized and stuff when it comes to them. And like, science itself, I think it just means, it's like I forget which word it comes from originally, but I think it comes from the word to know or knowledge or something. Oh, there you are. I thought I killed you. Guess not. Path blocked. Ascent recommended. What if I don't want to go up? Ooh, can I actually climb this? Oh. Of course, when I find a ladder in a game where I can't use it, or I can notice that, or I notice ladders in games when I'm not supposed to use them, Aww. Wait, I saw like... Okay, here we go. Man, periodically you hear something that sounds like a dog. I'm like expecting like some kind of dog creature to appear, but no. No, I never do. Ah. Yes. My, what of you? Hi there. Say hello to my little friend. Oh, come on. Ow. Ah, that's why I was hearing, like, you know, that. My health is full. Oh, nice. Nice. Preserving resources. I wonder what this flag is. Wait, is that one Zinch's flag? Or Zinch's emblem? Hmm. Hello. Welcome, welcome. Ah! Oh well. I'm sorry. General Kenobi. Let's see. Nope. Whole lot of nothing is what's going on here. Alright. Well, in that case, Yeah. I did see something about Boltgun 2, but I didn't know if it was the game was already out or if it wasn't yet. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it so far. I recently finished the campaign for Space Marine 2, and that was such a great game. Analyzing storm particulates, cogitating, chaotic energy residue identified prolonged contact may be considered heresy. Aw, come on, man, give me a break. I'm here to deal with the heresy, you know. Door query significant. Everything's heresy. Your mom is heresy. Anyway, ooh, what is this? Secret discovered, assault doctrine, melee smash. Oh, that's why I couldn't. That's why I couldn't leave. I was cornered. Alright. What does cogitating mean? I've only heard it in the context of Warhammer, actually. Oh, I'm absolutely full health-wise. I mean, I imagine it's like related to the word cogent, but truth be told, I actually don't really know what the word cogent means either. But I'm in the context that I've heard it used, I'm kind of assuming it has to do with like coherence, like sound mind. Make like a Doom guy. Am I right? Ah, you got stuck in the box. Ah. Ah! Anybody else? No, it seems nobody else was invited to this party. Okay. Nice. Ow. Sigma key, also known as the red key. Yeah, I kind of figured. Warping. Ah, it's right here. Vengeance Boltgun magazine. Heck yeah. Ow. They come in boxes too. Oh no. Purge level. Whoa. Screamer of Zinch. Yeah, I remember getting a trading card of these. Except I never actually encountered one. Did I just slow everybody else down? I think I did. Then again, maybe not. Ah, shoot. Purge procedure begins now. Take care of these screamers. Oh my gosh. Those things really live up to their name because they tend to actually jump scare me. Boy. Heavy bolter ammo, okay. Whoa. Right, and some enemies will only show up after you've defeated others. You dumb. Jeez. Okay, there we go. Oh, more of you. Whoa! Oh boy. Oh boy. That's not good. Area sanctified. Oh boy. Oh, come on. Oh, nice. Except... well, I only lost, like... I only died twice, so... you know, it's actually not too bad. Considering, like, the amount of time I spent, like, dealing with purges. Door. Also, I should be more mindful whenever I run into these areas where it, like, gives me a whole bunch of stuff, you know. That should kind of alarm me, you know. Like, a whole bunch of stuff without encountering a bunch of enemies beforehand. Or in the midst of it. Backtracking is heresy. I mean, you know, I thought about not streaming this today, and instead just premiering my reaction and analysis to the latest, like, you know, buzz with like Prime 4, like Metroid Prime 4. Especially because you got a whole bunch of people who are just freaking the heck out and are like, oh my gosh, like, it's gonna be, like, Prime 4 is gonna be so bad because of these NPCs, and this guy in particular looks really nerdy. And just like, oh, shut up. Everybody relax. Nice. Critical item revealed. They don't say. That said, there were a bunch of other YouTubers who were like, calm down. Like, everybody calm down. Which I'm like, thank you. So, you know, decided to go with the plan to stream Boltgun after all. Well, I really did go a long ways away, huh? Okay, we're back. We are so back in the neighborhood. Yeah, purge's done, but I'm still like, I've still got some enemies around here. Nice. I do like the detail that they don't just, like, they just leave the, I mean, I like the detail of how the gore is just left everywhere. Like, it doesn't despawn because it does, like, just emphasize, you know, the massacre everywhere. Which one? Which one? Okay, this seems like the way I'm supposed to go, so. Oh, I think that's, yeah, that's health. Door located, yeah. Oh. That's because that's not a cultist! Ooh. I was like, this guy's a bit tougher. I was like, oh yeah, it's a Marine. Oh hey, we got a fourth weapon, and it's a heavy. Heavy. I am heavy weapons guy. And this is my weapon. Ooh. Munitions boost, lock and load. Cool. Will do. Uh-oh. I think I'm headed for another purge. Drove the nail in. Entering access gantries, repair. Oh. Man, let's look at the size of these shells. Yep. Am I gonna have to do a purge in this area? Suddenly reminded of No! Oh no. Yeah, these guys are Zinchi boys too. You know, makes perfect sense. I thought he might have fallen off or something. Oh, good. They're splitting off, and then, well, some of them just fell off because of how they were spawned in. On the plus side, this does help. It is easier to area control. Oh, what am I didn't mean to do that. Oh, man. Oh, I forgot that also did that. Oh. Didn't quite register what I was looking at. Until it was almost too late. Oh. Oh. Those damn blue horrors. Oh. Well, it wasn't just that. I mean, part of it was the video, but like, So I was like, I'm not gonna wait around. Like, I'm not gonna wait around for more people to just start making a big fuss. Right. I sort of think of, like, Metroid's trailers are sort of like Pixar's trailers. Like, I don't think I've really watched, I've either never or almost never watched a single, like, seen a single Pixar trailer and thought, yeah, or like, not, haha, like, I don't, like, Pixar movie trailers typically don't make me actually want to watch the movie. Even though Pixar movies, at least in the past, like, not so much anymore, but in the past have been, like, really quality movies, you know? Like really great movies. But Pixar movie trailers have, like, not so much. So it's like Metroid game trailers are generally not like that great. I mean, they're cool, you know, don't get me wrong, but like, are they like, you know, like, say you're watching like Infinity War or something, like the Infinity War trailer or the Endgame trailer or something like that. Like, those are some solid trailers that make people be like, oh my gosh, I want to go see this movie now. Let's see. Whew. Well, the only reason I didn't survive last time was because I made the silly mistake of blowing up this barrel while I was headed towards it. Like, okay, I blame... I like... Whoop. Oh boy. Probably not a good idea to stand that close to a explodey barrel. Oh, it was almost. Now the first Metroid, the first Prime 4 trailer was awesome. Like, I mean, part of why it was just awesome was just like revealing, or just like getting a darn trailer at all. But then just like Silex appearing at the end and waltzing in like he owns the place, being like, "Surprise, mofo, I'm back," you know. Oh, you again. Like, that was great.
But yeah, I've got my, like around noon or something, I think is when I'll... Just sometime around that time tomorrow is when I'm like planning on dropping like my reaction to like even more footage and stuff. I mean, sure, but then again, there were some people who still remained in doubt simply by virtue of the fact that, well, we didn't get any... Simply by virtue of the fact that we didn't actually see any, like, trailers or anything like that. I was like, I don't know if Silex is actually going to come back. Or, you know, you had people who were being like, yeah, Silex is most definitely, or is like, you know, hands down, like, is probably gonna come back, you know? Like, they've been teasing it and stuff. So it's like, even though, like, I was confident, like, Silex was coming back, there was still just that seed of doubt that he wouldn't. Just because, well, it wasn't confirmed yet. And it's not like they haven't... It's not like stories haven't necessarily picked up on, like, loose ends before, or haven't, like, you know, done that sort of thing. So, it was just, you know, it's like when he just, like, you know, comes in, you're just like, it's kind of like, it's kind of like this one gal was like showing, like, you know, taking pictures of like zoomed in on like Saturn, like with like some really good zoom, like a really good zoom on her camera. It was like practically a telescope, and it got so close to the point that you could very clearly see Saturn's shape and rings and stuff. Like it pretty much looked like it did it does in, like, you know, the pictures you see. So it's like, even though, you know, okay, yeah, Saturn looks like this and it has these big rings and stuff, just seeing that through just like a long distance camera lens was like really like awe-inspiring, or just like really cool. Oh, what? That's something I do when I'm idle. That's hilarious. Asian combat error, combat routines missing, canceling. Door equals found. You know, also, it's funny you should mention that, because we actually just watched the Tintin movie again recently, except we were showing my nieces. I just love how I'm reading. I guess this is the Codex Astartes. I'm just reading a book. That's funny. But yeah, we just showed the nieces the Tintin movie, and they really enjoyed it. And it was just I just loved hearing, like, Ariel in particular. Engaging self-destruct functionality error. Functionality not found. Reattempting. Oh, that's funny. She's just like, you know, seeing, like, you know, that first shot, like that first, like, really epic badass shot of, like, Red Rackham or something, just like coming down, like the broken mast with like fire all around. She's just like Red Rackham and stuff, you know. So it's just like, it was great. Anyway, I don't remember that being a thing for all of these, or I don't remember me doing that because I think I have been idle before, but maybe not idle, like not actually moving my gun. So I'm just kind of wondering if there's like, it's also just funny. Oh, okay. So, wait, the color was different though. It was like a greenish book, not like a yellow one. Or a yellow-orange. Predilection to kill increasing. No, never mind. Maybe I think it was just where I was standing. Which, if it is actually keeping track of lighting, then that's pretty cool. Venerable Bastion. The Magistrate's Bastion. The information we need will be here somewhere. Now all you have to do is get inside. Shouldn't be too hard. Looks like the heretics have managed it. The Know No Fear ability recharges as you kill enemies. And also I was reminded of like how many like little Easter eggs to the other ones they did in the movie. Like they made it so, you know, they have like the simulated zero gravity effects and going downwards in a plane. And then like, so the whiskey comes out of the bottle in like a little ball. Just like in Explorers on the Moon. And then, of course, you know, they give Sakharin, like, the cane sword. Which, again, you know, it is, like, a rather strange, like, you know, I mean, you know, it is a weird turn of events. Like, you know, it's like, oh, we'll make Sakharin the bad guy. But then again, you know, I thought about it later, and I was like, well, to be fair, or, you know, or they come up with the whole storyline that he's actually the descendant of Red Rackham. And then I was like, well, to be fair, in the book, Sakharin actually does kind of look like Red Rackham. Even kind of wears red-ish, you know. I don't think I mentioned that, no, but, honestly, though, he also looks a bit like Rasputin in the books, or in the book, because he was only in main gate status block period alternative. He was only in The Secret of the Unicorn. And then also, like, I was kind of thinking to myself, like, why is, like, when we were watching, I'm just like, now why is Tintin getting the, like, you know, his motive for getting the ship, the model ship, is completely different. Because in the book, he actually just, like, he got it for the captain, as a gift, you know. Now, yeah, like, he just kind of, like, he was there as a character, and then they just, Hergé is just like, you know. He was just a collector. Now, I'm not sure like, the reason, like, okay, the reason he wanted 2 of them, you know, it is kind of a bit bizarre, especially since he's not actually a bad guy in the book. Just like, okay, so he just wants it all. Now how do I get over there? Maybe that's how? Also, how do I get out of here? And also, like, the whole, like, poem itself with, like, you know, the 3 sons or whatever. It is interesting. You know, just the attention to detail in the movie, just like, oh, hey, like, what we can do with this? Like, okay, Sir Francis Haddock had, like, 3 sons who had, like, 3 different descendant lines and stuff. And also, they did try to, like, touch up on why the captain is an alcoholic. Like, it's not really, like, okay, well, sure, they, like, I mean, sure, like, Alan and his mates are, like, trying to keep, like, you know, are like, get the captain drunk and try to keep him drunk and stuff to, like, you know, so they can run the ship, right? That being said, like, you know, it seems like there would be some kind of motive or sad story for the captain to be totally okay with just being drunk all the time, right? So, which is never touched on in the book. He's just a drunk. Right, like, they just show up and then, yeah, they like, and they're like, well, hey, what if we actually use that? Like, you know, it's like Red Rackham, like, Sakharine kind of looks like Red Rackham. He wants the unicorn for some reason, you know. And also, like, Steven's, like, I think I mentioned this before. Pretty cool, just point of, like Steven Spielberg, like, he got the idea to make the Tintin movie because, you know, like, some French film critics were, like, looking at, like, you know, doing, you know, reviews of his movie Raiders of the Lost Ark, and they kept mentioning this Tintin in, like, French or whatever, and he's like asking his interpreter, what is this word they keep mentioning? And his interpreter is like, oh, that's the name of this book series and stuff. And so Steven Spielberg discovered them, and he just fell in love with the series. And eventually, he like, at first he tried doing, oh, okay, better keep my eye out for this guy. At first he tried to do, like, a live action movie. I forgot what the name was, but it had a title similar to, like, the Red Sea Sharks. But that didn't follow through. I don't remember why, though. And he wanted to, like, yeah, it did. I agree. Like, which is why, like, you know, part of why, like, you can just tell, like, the movie was made with love, you know. But like, he was actually gonna meet Hersey in person, but then, like, Hersey died or something. But he got his permission or something, I think, before he died. But then, okay, so and I don't remember why, like I said, it's just for whatever reason the live action movie project just didn't work out. But Steven Spielberg still wanted to make one, or make a movie. And then Lord of the Rings happened. And of course there was the whole motion capture technology Peter Jackson used for Gollum, right? Which I don't know if it was the first movie series to use the first movies to use motion capture, but I don't know. But so then he was like, huh, that seems like a great idea. And this way we can get away with like a lot more, like, you know, just kind of get more in the feel of the books themselves, right? Engage in self-destruct fun. Oh yeah. So then he contacts Peter Jackson because, you know, the movie is made by both Steven Spielberg and Peter Jackson. And he's like, hey, so I have this idea to make the Tintin movie, and, like, you know, I saw, like, what you did with Gollum and motion capture and stuff, and I think it would be a great idea to do that. And, well, conveniently enough, Peter Jackson was already a big fan of Tintin. And so it's like, heck yeah, let's do it. So you could say that if the Lord of the Rings movies didn't happen, then the Tintin movie wouldn't have happened either, but, or at least it wouldn't have in its current state. But it is sad though that they didn't, you know, I guess it just didn't do so well because they were planning on making another one, but they never did. Which, you know, ah! What? I'm like barely really playing. So you guys have like 2 lives, huh? Or is it that I just gotta totally annihilate you? And also, like, they did this, they actually did this, like, Peter Jackson did this screen test for, like, Snowy, like, his CGI model. And he shows up, Peter Jackson does, he shows up in the screen test video, or Snowy render video, dressed in Captain Haddock's outfit with, like, you know, a bottle of whiskey to boot, and he's just like, hi, you know, this is Peter Jackson. I'm here to audition for the part of Captain Haddock. Which he did want to do that, but yeah, I think Peter Jackson was like, well, actually, I could use a guy I've used before, namely Andy Serkis. Which, that guy is such a talented actor. Raw sewage is hazardous to vital function. So noted. Oh, ow. Okay, it seems... it seems that if I'm still shooting him, even after his health is all gone, it seems that he won't, like, rejuvenate. So... noted. Ah. Okay, I was like, spin booster? My mind went to, you know, Metroid, naturally, but... Which, yeah, the speed, or the boost ball is something that they, cheer up. Is something they brought back. It's pretty cool. I'm still wondering how the heck I'm supposed to get this, thingy over here. Howdy, neighbor. Yeah. Boost of fire. Boost fire. Full power. They just make our they make our words sound just so cool. Maybe... Aha! Machines. Raise the Omnicide. Shit it. Well, great. I just summoned... everybody and everybody's mother. Not really, of course, but... Alright, so what was the point of that exactly? Other than I just collected me a nice, you know, pickup. And got a secret, you know. We'll never know. Well, that ended up being a lot simpler than I thought, but that's okay. Wow! So I just started shooting. Boy, this is taking a while. Oh boy. The game's giving me a lot of stuff again. Oh no. Yep, this is a purge area. Nice. Oh, nice. Well, that was a nice find. Purge the heretics! No, why don't we just get along? That seems like a better idea. Ah! Screamers. Screamer of Zinch. Whoa! What the? Exalted Flamer? Hi there. That was a bit overkill, but you know what? That's okay. That was also overkill. That was also bogus. Hmm? Ah! Why do you look like that? That is a very overgrown bird's mask thingy. Hmm. Lol. Well, hey, I survived that purge. Relaying recording, bolster contempt, servant of the Imperium. No. Okay. Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, something you mentioned earlier. Like when you're like reading, like when my guy just whips out the Codex Astartes or something. That's just awesome. I love that so much. The work that gets put into idle animations or whatever are, I love them so much. Like in the Spider-Man 3 GBA game, if you're just standing still for a while, Spider-Man just like scratches his head and then just shrugs and goes, I don't know. It's like, you know. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, you mentioned like you're plague surgeon general, yeah. Well, I mean, I imagine he's like Zinch related or something, because Zinch, like I said, like he does kind of like he is depicted oftentimes in like some like bird-like fashions. But yeah, you mentioned like hear the words of the Emperor, which reminded me of something that like I don't think I actually mentioned in my playthrough of Space Marine 2. But there is an interesting bit of like, you know, how I mentioned how like, you know, he like presumably, you know, actually destroys the artifact again or something. And like, you know, it causes this great big explosion that kills Imurah. And I'm just kind of thinking, now, I would kind of imagine that would actually have like just like killed him too, but you know, he's just got, you know, Titus is just too cool to kill, so we gotta give him like insane plot armor. And just kind of make him look like he's about to die later, but then he just stands to his feet, you know. However, there is something that I didn't really mention that I noticed, and I was curious if this was the case. But when the screen goes black and everything, just before it, you know, it fades back in, and like Chiron is like, "You did it, brother," you know, and stuff, and like everybody's just like looking at him, just like, you know, is he okay and stuff, like the subtitle, there is like this one line that is said, and the speaker is unidentified. It just says voice, but the line is, you know, "Rise, son of Gilliman." And I was thinking to myself, is that supposed to be the Emperor? Like, did the Emperor himself like kind of intervene or something? Like is that why part of why Titus survived or something? I mean, that would certainly help make sense of it, I guess. But like, and like, I was looking like later because, okay, apparently there are 2 games coming out with Titus in it. One is, I think it's 500 Worlds, and then there's Space Marine 3. And apparently Titus actually made an appearance in a show, which is pretty cool. But like, who's shooting? But yeah, I was like reading this article, and it like mentioned how like, you know, a lot of people think the same thing, that the voice was the Emperor. Because in the context that I was mentioning, it's like, but will anything make Leandros like forgive Titus or whatever, you know, or just let go? And it's like, probably not. It was like, even after the Even after winning the trust of his brothers, commendation and of Captain Akaran, and commendation from the chapter master himself, Lord Calgar, and what many people believe is actually the Emperor himself, like intervening or saving the day or something, or like helping him out. Like, even after all that, Leandros is like still just, you know, he's like got an axe to grind with Titus. And so I mean, that's also part of why I'm just thinking to myself, okay, who wants to bet that Leandros actually becomes like an enemy you fight in like Space Marine 3 or something. I mean, I just don't see him. I don't see him doing the old like sacrificial, like, you know, like I don't see him. Oh, this is like strangely purple. But I don't like. Okay, like Gadriel, I was thinking to myself, either he's gonna go the path of Leandros and turn me in again, or he's gonna realize that Titus is cool, but ends up sacrificing himself in the end. Pleasantly enough, and surprisingly enough, neither of them were true. Gadriel just ends up becoming like, you know, he just like ends up apologizing, and he doesn't die. You know, ends up being a cool dude that helps out, and like a little bit of storytelling, just as far as like how like lines are. Like he usually just calls, like before a certain point, he only would call Titus either sir or lieutenant, but then after that whole bit where it's like, okay, everything's all good and they're reconciled and stuff, and you know, he and Titus exchange apologies and stuff, you then notice a subtle difference in how he addresses him, and which is that he calls him brother. So we shall smoke them all. Here's the Sigma key. Oh, hi there. Another exalted flamer. What, you think I'm just gonna stand there and take it? Well, as a matter of fact. No. Where's the, Is it up there? I'm afraid not. Guess it's up there. Has to be, right? Oh, shoot.
I don't think I'm familiar with this meme. No. 500 kilowatts. No, I'm not familiar with that one. Sorry. Ah, was that a hint? This guy just standing on top of this? Unless that was literally just to get that. Drat. Wrong button. I see. I'm trying to think if this is like next generation or it doesn't really sound like it, you're not talking about Patrick Stewart, are you? Okay, what's the button that tells you where you're supposed to go? Oh yeah, I forgot there's a quick save and quick load option. In, that's what it is. Passes plot a reliance on incommonis commendatory. All directions lead to victory for the Blessed Emperor. So it's up here? Oh. You mean Captain Picard? I saw that earlier and I completely forgot about it. And I also just completely ignored the bright red lanterns there. Not to be confused with the, those enemies and, those bad dudes in the Green Lantern universe. Yeah. Captain Picard, yeah, he wears red and he's bald. So that's why I was like wondering, you're not talking about like Patrick Stewart's character, are you? Now, Green Gold, though.
first by wrinkled, I wondered if you meant like the guy with the fishbone head, or like the ridged head, meaning Mr. Worf. But he doesn't wear red; he wears yellow, and he's a Klingon. Which, considering how serious Mr. Worf is all the time, like, I was kind of picturing him saying that, sort of, and thinking that'd be really funny. Right, and Worf is a Klingon, so that's part of why I was wondering if it might be him. I don't know. Okay, here's the phi key. Oh, well, this one was a lot easier to find. Well, in that case, another thing I was thinking of, which was like totally off because I was alert nearby forces, ammunition. I was thinking of the actual Sith species from Star Wars. Like that one dude who, like, you refer to as, like, Inspector Zavere, because he's just like a, got it. Okay, a wrinkled, red-skinned, and bald alien. Not sure. I'm not sure who that is. I wonder if it's in one of the series that I haven't even seen. Like Deep Space Nine or... Uh-oh. You know what that means. We're headed for a purge area. Okay, finally. Aw, nothing special. That is a beautiful sound. Oh, there are two of you. One behind me, too. Well, it turned out to be okay. Because as I rightly surmised, as long as I'm moving about, I should be fine. Because they're kinda... They're fairly easy to dodge. Lame as Rob. It's like kind of the main antagonist. The guy who's after Jean Valjean all the time. And sort of his deal is he's got like claims to be, you know, a man of God, Christian, but he like totally has it all, like totally has the whole concept of grace all bent and backwards and upside down. And you know, he's like totally a man of his time, and he's like his character is like the law incarnate. And like the reason he ends up committing suicide in the end because he finds himself in this no-win conundrum, like this existential crisis where all his life he was under the understanding that, you know, things like, you know, you mess up once, well, you're just that the whole time. And like, you know, he has like no you're thinking of shoot, I can never remember that guy's name. But like, it's like Javert has like yeah, you know, he has like, he has the like sort of the first part, like, okay, so like when you're telling somebody the gospel, you know, you gotta give them the good news and the bad news. And they can't really understand the good news unless you give them the bad news first, which is that, you know, like, you know, that you are a sinner, that you can't actually, you can't actually earn your own salvation. You can't, like, if you have committed any one of these, like, you know, broken any of God's laws even once, well, you are a lawbreaker, committer of cosmic treason, as R.C. Sproul would put it. But it's like, yeah, it's like Javert and men of his time had like half of the gospel, and it ended up being monstrous because they only had like the bad news basically. And so he's just raised up and being like, you know, this really great guy, or just like, you know, following every rule, and just like, you know, Jean Valjean, he steals food, he steals a loaf of bread because he's trying to feed himself and his sister and her child. But he just sees that and he's like, oh, he's a thief, so he's like basically irredeemable. You know, he's just once a thief, forever a thief. Nothing good can come from this man. But so yeah, the existential crisis and the impossible, like, no-win conundrum that he runs into is that he has this idea in his mind. Okay, Jean Valjean, he's a sinner, fallen from grace, and so nothing good can come from him, and he can't do anything good. No good can come from him. And he's only going to be looking, you know, for his own best interests and everything like that. But then Jean Valjean, like, or he encounters him again, but like he's like reformed himself, like he, you know, because he used the silver the bishop gave him. And he's like, you know, like, become an honest man with this silver. And so like he is this like great dude, and like he's turned this one town around, and Javert, like, to the point that Javert doesn't even recognize him. But the thing that kind of jogs his memory, or the thing that jogs his memory, is that, like, you know, there's this guy who's trapped under this cart, and Jean Valjean, who's been in slavery for, like, you know, in hard labor for like a long time, is able to lift it at his age. And Javert just like, and the way the movie with Liam Neeson and Jeffrey Rush, like, Liam Neeson plays Jean Valjean in the movie, or in this one movie, and Jeffrey Rush plays Javert. And just Jeffrey Rush's acting in that part where he sees Liam Neeson just like lifting up the cart and just like, you know, showing like immense strength and stuff, and just like he's just like staring, and like he has like flashbacks of Jean Valjean while he was in slavery, and he's just like and he's like confounded because he's like, wait, like how can this mayor who's like, how can he be Jean Valjean and stuff? And then he finds out that he actually is him, and because Jean Valjean reveals his identity in court because they found this other guy who looks like him, and you know, he ran away. Like, he broke his parole, Jean Valjean did. He broke his parole. And so he's been on the run. But then they find this other guy that even people who are also other slaves look at him and are like, yeah, that's Jean Valjean. So it just looks like him. And so Valjean is thinking to himself, like, I love the song in the musical, like, Who Am I? Which is where he's in this problem where he's just like, okay, do I just... I could, you know, I could be scot-free. I could just, you know, this other guy, he can just take the fall for me. And just like, why should I save his hide? Why should I write this song when I've come so far and suffered for so long? But then he's like, you know, if I speak, I am condemned. If I stay silent, I am damned. And so then he decides, okay, I gotta save this guy. Like, he's suffering in my place. So he goes and he reveals his identity in court, and the judges and everybody, they can't believe it. Like, so he just walks out with everybody just left in utter shock because, like, Javert, they're like, how can this great dude actually be this guy who is a slave, a runaway slave, like, who broke his parole, like who was a prisoner at that as well, like. But then Javert, you know, he chases after him and stuff. So then the thing that the problem that Javert runs into, and that's very long-winded, I apologize, but the problem that Javert runs into is that at one point Javert gets captured, or like he's a spy. Like he inserts himself in the company of the revolutionaries as a spy, and then Gavroche, the little kid. Yeah, it's story time with Isaac. The kid who is like kind of an adult in a kid's body, because like Gavroche, like apparently he like actually raised himself, but like, and which is why you also have these other two little boys who are like even younger than he is, but they call him father or papa or whatever, because he takes care of them. But like. But anyway, Gavroche recognizes Javert, and he rats him out, and so they throw him in their like little jail or whatever. But Valjean, he ends up joining the revolutionaries to help Marius, who is like the lover of his ward, Cosette. But then he discovers that Javert is in their custody, and they're gonna kill him, you know, once they're done and stuff. So then he goes, and he's like, you know, like he helps them out in their fight and stuff, and they're like, you know, in exchange, like, just like, let me have Javert, let me take care of him, and they're like, okay, sure, he's yours. So then Javert is like, oh yeah, so you've waited for this all your life, you're gonna take your revenge, you're gonna kill me, and stuff, you know, like you're gonna kill me with a knife and stuff, and like, and Valjean is like, no dude, you're free to go. And Javert is like, what? You know, you, like, what do you mean? And he's like, I mean just that, and like, it's like, it's like you're out of your mind. Like no, there's some catch, Valjean. Like, you know, you're trying to trick me and stuff. And so he's like, you know, shoot me. You know, in the music, it's like, shoot me now for all. I was like, once a thief, forever a thief. What you want, you always steal. You would trade your life for mine? Yes, Valjean, you want a deal. Shoot me now for all I care. If you let me go, beware. You'll still answer to Javert. And, but Valjean, you know, he just lets him go. And this bugs Javert. He's just like, what? It's like, why did he just let me go? That doesn't make any sense. Like, that just doesn't compute. So then later, you know, he's still after Valjean because, well, Javert is the law. Like, the law, there is no mercy with the law. So later, like, the revolutionaries, they're all pretty much dead, except for Marius. Marius is the only one who survived, but he is in critical condition. And so Valjean, he grabs him and is like taking him away from the soldiers, like saving him from the barricade. But meanwhile, Javert is after him. And he's like, and then Javert catches up with him, and Valjean is like, look, as you know, it's you, Javert. I knew you wouldn't wait too long. The faithful servant has post once more. You know, this man needs a doctor, and he needs, this man's done no wrong, and he needs a doctor's care. You know, and Javert is like, I warned you, I wouldn't give in. You know, but Valjean manages to convince him, okay, look, just let me get him some help, and then I'm yours. And Javert's like, I'll be waiting. But then, you know, while he's gone, Javert is in this conundrum. Like, it's where he, like, goes full existential crisis mode. Because he's like, this guy that I've been chasing for years and years, like, according to his own political, sociological, and religious ideology, like, according to his understanding of what Christianity is, by all accounts, Valjean should not be this man of mercy that he is coming off to be. Like, he spares Javert's life, like, and lets him go. Not only does he spare his life, he saves his life. And then he also, a suggestion, colon lost, question mark. And then he also helps out Marius and stuff. And then, like, you know, it's like, I'll come back and help, you know, I'll give myself in and stuff. And, you know, especially in the 10th anniversary version of the musical, it's just so good. Like Javert's, like, final hurrah, as it were, but where he just finally just, like, is like, I can't live with this. I can't live with this, like, malfunction or just this contradiction anymore. And you know, he's just like, you know, I'm the, like, damned if I live in the debt of a thief, damned if I yield at the end of the chase. I am the law, and the law is not mocked. I will spit every evil right back in his, or spit any pity right back in his face. There is nothing on earth that we share. It is either Valjean or Javert. Oh boy. Purging time. And like he's just like, you know, can this man be believed? Can his sins be forgiven? Shall his crimes be reprieved? Like, and must I now begin to doubt who had never doubted all these years? My heart is stone and still it trembles. The world I have known is lost in shadow. Is he from heaven or from hell? And does he know that granting me my life today, this man has killed me even so? And then his last words in the musical are, I'm reaching, but I fall, which this part is like this beautiful parallel to something Valjean says when he decides to change his ways. Except instead of changing his ways, Valjean, or Javert's version ends with him killing himself. But, you know, he goes like, you know, I'm reaching but I fall, and the stars are black and cold, as I stare into the void, in a world that cannot hold. I'll escape now from that world, from the world of Jean Valjean. There is nowhere I can turn, there is no way to go on. And it's just like, it's just like, you know, such a, you know, to quote Mr. T, you know, I pity the fool, you know, it's just, and it's also as Javert has always been like he's been a character that I pity a lot, like I just, like, I even empathize with, just because I myself, and I mean, with like some flawed theology growing up that I'm like growing out of, or that I've grown out of like within the last few years, but I'm still like learning, because I'm at war with my own perfectionist nature. And perfectionism, being a perfectionist in of itself isn't a bad thing. It has its perks, of course. But it can certainly get in the way, and especially when you apply it in a, like if you make it mix with your own Christian faith, then it can be very dangerous, because then you can forget the very gospel that, you know, showed you can't save yourself, you can't make yourself perfect. That's why you needed Christ in the first place. But that being said, it's why it's why I've always empathized with Javert as a character, just because he is that, like he's got half of the gospel. Like he's got the idea of, like, you know, like in James, like you break one law in the law of God, you've broken the whole law. And so, and like ultimately without the shedding of blood there is no atonement for sin. But then, you know, he misses the other half of the picture, which is that, you know, yes, we are all sinners, short, you know, fallen from grace, but we have somebody who suffered satisfaction for our on our behalf and for our atonement. But, you know, so it's like this. I forgot why we even got on this in the first place. But oh, right. I was talking about like there was the dude in I was trying to figure out what alien species you were talking about. And like when you mentioned like he was a red alien, like mind went to like the actual Sith species. Like that one Sith dude in the Old Republic, who was like actually a pretty honorable guy. Like I was like, you seem a decent, like I quoted Inigo Montoya, I'm like, you seem a decent fellow, I hate to kill you. Which thankfully I had the option to not kill him. But like he's just like, you know, he's basically just doing his job. Like that's like, you know, he's a man of honor and stuff, you know, a man of duty. Like he's a dutiful creature, you know. Which is kind of that's always been my nickname for like Javert, like such a dutiful creature. Ah! Oh look, 6-7. Oh no! 2 of them! Oh, I'm out of that. Oh, come on. Man, after all that. I knew I should have quick saved. So I keep forgetting that is an option. Just because I typically don't really need it that much. Boy, are you ugly. Ah! Bag doctor, indeed. Oh boy. Ah! It does sound like an old book. It's like Jules Verne's like 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea or whatever. He has like massive amounts of text just describing all these different kinds of fish or whatever. Now, now in that case, I would say, you know, like, okay, well, it's not like people can just Google site purge standards acceptable. It's like, it's not like people just had Google, or even, like, it's not like encyclopedias or necessarily common, probably. So, like, you know, he's just, like, giving the reader, hey, look at all this cool, look at all these cool fish or whatever. I mean, honestly, to me at least, that sounds kind of interesting, or sounds rather, you know, even kind of funny. But I mean, I think judging by it, it's like, okay, like I know we've watched like at least one movie together, right? And I know, like, you were mentioning, like sort of commentating here on there, and just kind of like the transition to like certain points seemed a little disjointed or whatever. So it does seem like you like to have like stories just like a lot more succinct, or just like logical and progression and stuff. Yeah, basically. No. It's like Jules Verne's was like explaining Warhammer lore before Warhammer. Now, of course, I like to make sure, or I like to have like a succinct story or whatever, but like, as long as the story just makes sense, you know, I'm okay with like rabbit trails and, you know, seeming like unrelated. Oh man, I didn't find this earlier. Oh well. Well, they discover a secret at least. Oh, I think this is the end of the level. It's like in Hrot, like the ends of the level were very clear. Like, because you broke this little like you broke, like, Of course, one of the things I think when I think of Jules Verne's is just that one line in Tron Legacy, where
what's her name? Cora is like, you know, just between you and me, like, Jules Varnes is my favorite. Do you know Jules Varnes? And Sam goes, sure. And she goes, what's he like? And it's like, that's not what I mean. That's not what he meant. But also something I think of is just how, like in Aiden's first book, Below the Abyss, like it draws, it not only draws inspiration from Bioshock, but it also does draw inspiration from 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. In fact, like to the point that he puts a very on the nose reference to 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, like, quite frankly. I did tell him, I was like, okay, maybe just leave the, maybe don't mention, well, Captain Nemo was a friend of mine to this one character or something, but like, still, it like it would still be cool, just like, hey, it's called the Nautilus, or the submarine is called the Nautilus and it was scuttled or whatever. Just like leave it at that and let people figure out, oh, this is a 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea reference. But that's just my opinion. But like personally, but still, I mean, it is cool. It is cool. Don't get me wrong. But let's see, Forbidden Knowledge. You're inside, and the story overall. To be clear, the story overall is a great story. I had a lot of fun reading it. It was great. I think he's still working on the 5th book, because I've read all the ones he's released so far. So, well, I guess that really shows where we differ, because I think I'm the opposite. I prefer Lord of the Rings personally, but let's see. Forbidden Knowledge. You're inside the Bastion. Its corrupt owner has quite the archive here. Search the he said with a Klingon accent. Search the deepest recesses of this foul place for information on the fragment's whereabouts. The no fear ability recharges as you kill enemies. What is the no fear ability? Do I have that as an option? Maybe not now. Also, just in case I accidentally like press quick load and put myself back in the previous level. Excessive detail. What's happening? Like, compared to Tolkien? Tolkien goes into, like, extreme detail. Like, he is a world builder. Which, speaking of which, that was part of why, like, part of Tolkien's criticism of Lord of the Rings was that you could easily replace any of the creatures Lewis wrote, like in his fantasy. You could easily replace any of the characters with a different creature, or with just a human. Because
what are the things that they eat or that they do? Like, they're just basically, there's not really any distinction. They don't really have their own culture other than just homey comfort, like British back in the day or something. I mean, the only real distinction I can think of is like that one time when they were like gonna ride a centaur, but like the centaur had like a huge breakfast he had to eat because, you know, he's also got like horse belly or something. But like, right, it's like Tolkien, like he just like Narnia is, you know, it's a fantasy, whereas like, I mean, Lord of the Rings is a, like, my sister Katie and myself were talking about this, like Lord of the Rings obviously is also a fantasy, but it's like a, it is a huge like world just like full of lore and like languages and history and like things like that. Like, it's like there's this one meme of just that I always love, which is like, it shows like J.K. Rowling, the author of Harry Potter. It's like, has a great idea, writes a series. Then it shows George R.R. Martin, the Game of Thrones guy, has a great idea, writes a series. And then it shows like Tolkien with like the laser eyes meme. It's like, invents a language, decides it needs a world to go with it. It's like, well, that is true. Yeah, I'll give you that. I'll grant that. And I guess maybe it mentions he likes cheese somewhere. I don't know, because he's a mouse. Method of exfiltration identified. Exfiltration. I've heard of infiltration. Actually, I think I have heard of exfiltration too. I mean, that's the opposite of infiltration. Sneaking out? Who, Reaper Chief does? I thought you were talking about Tolkien. I was like... So I got Zinch and Nurgle, but like represented clearly. But are Khorne and Slaanesh represented? Not that I want Slaanesh to be represented. But Slaanesh is definitely the Chaos God that I really don't want to see anything of, quite frankly. But, Khorne is about as basic as it gets. And I don't mean C-O-R-N-E. K-H-O-R-N-E. Did I say K-O-R... did I say C-O-R-N-E? I meant C-O-R-N. But like, Korn is a fairly basic dude. Like he, you know, he just loves. So okay, so Nurgle is like death, decay, disease. Yeah, like Korn. Zinch is like change and mutation, and stuff like that. Korn is death and killing, murder, and stuff like that. Just like, you know, it's like about as basic as evil gets, you know. Oh, nothing over here. About as evil and chaotic as things get, just like death, destruction, murder, killing, etc. Oh, that one didn't split off. Oh, shoot. I don't remember what Malice or Malal is like representative of, the renegade one, like the one that like all the other Chaos Gods hate. And he hates them too. Slanesh is excess. Like just like excess of anything, like, and just the, it's like, and the like lust thereof, the lust of excess. So it, like, just insert anything, so like just take it up to a like 11, like anything sexual or pain or things of that, just anything like excess of, that is what Slanesh is. Which is also why Slanesh is by far my least favorite. So, but no! Ooh, what a save. This is a door. What is this? Yeah. He's like, yes, it is a door. So, where exactly am I supposed to go? Follow the putrescent scent of heresy? Putrescent scent of heresy.
Or is it, or oh, is it putrescent?
Hello. Which, also, it's apparently in the lore,
furry.
Not exactly, but because Slanesh isn't fat.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, Clyde.
which it's actually because like it's the Eldar or the Eldar's fault that Slanesh even exists, actually, because Slanesh, unlike the other Chaos Gods, was like Slanesh, unlike the other Chaos Gods, was not really. I don't know if eternal is the right word, but just the Chaos Gods like Khorne, Tzeentch, and Nurgle, they had been around for a good long while, and also their colors are like red, green, and blue, and so it's like, or they're like their preferred colors or whatever, so it's like, you know, the good old RGB or what have you. Oh dear. And so that's kind of how you can tell just whose side they're on, or their allegiance, like their loyalties, just by the color. So it's like, you know, the blue horrors, I should have figured they were Tzeentch related because they were blue.
Bowser Jr.
Apparently Bowser Jr. is supposed to be the bad guy in the new Mario movie. Like, he was teased. Which makes sense. But yeah, I guess just what I mean is, like, yeah, Slanesh wasn't even around for a good long while. It was just, you know, the others. But then the freaking Eldar, who, okay, so the Eldar, the Necrons, when they became a problem way back when, two races were created, like sort of like Metroids being created to deal with the X-Parasite. Two races were created to battle the Necrons. And the races were the Orcs and the Eldar. However, the Eldar really effed things up, rather literally. Because the Eldar, in their utter debauchery at one point, basically gave that debauchery essence, like, or sentience. And that sentience became Slanesh. And so then, because of that incident, the Eldar split. Like, there was a split in the Eldar. There was one group of the Eldar who realized, oh my gosh, we completely messed up. And they became the Eldari. Who, they're still bad, but they're not nearly as bad as the other Eldar group. And the other Eldar group would be the Drukhari, who are loyal followers of Slaanesh. Unless you're talking about the god of this world, which would be, you know, Satan. But, not the legal god of this world, or like the owner of this world, not in that sense, but, you know, because Satan isn't anywhere nearly on par with, like, the one true god. But, okay, it's like, okay, they're bricky, just, okay, there's this guy whose videos, Victor sort of forced me to watch. Not really forced, like, but he just, like, had me sit down and watch his, videos, because he just gave me this big ol' exposition on Warhammer lore. It's like, okay, you're gonna learn Warhammer lore. And I'm like, alright, sure. And it's this fellow by the name of, like, Bricky, or whatever. And, then he gets, like, when he's explaining the lore and stuff, he gets to the Chaos Gods. And he's like, this is his introduction. It's like, alright. Oh, okay. But this is how he introduces the Chaos Gods. He's like, okay, now, picture Satan, okay? Alright, now picture 3 more Satans. It's like, okay. But, he didn't mention Malal at all, but that's kind of because, Malal's, or Malice's, canonicity is somewhat in question. Even though once upon a time he was canon. So for the longest, oh no! For the longest time, I had no knowledge of Malal, but okay. Now I'm just thinking of, like, it's like before how it should have ended and terminal montage or whatever. There was the thumb videos, and there was, like, Thumb Wars, which was the thumb battle, like, variant of Star Wars. And like, Black Helmet Man, you are bad. Your badness will be the end of you. We're good, you're bad. And just like, yeah. Or something like that, but the thing is, the colors he likes, okay, because Slaanesh's color is like pink, magenta, purple. like stuff like that. So if I see that in like chaos enemies, I'm like, are you Slanesh related? If so, you're the first to die. But no. Okay, that's fine. But Malal's colors like that are like black and white and stuff. So given that there is a lot of chaos that likes the color black, like with the Horus and like whatnot, like, you know, I do kind of wonder if he is still somewhat represented in some way, shape, or form. Nice. I am getting very lost again. The Emperor's Chosen are never lost. Well, I guess that means I'm not one of them. Is this something I can interact with? Yes. That is awfully helpful of them. What the frick? +1 vortex grenade. Ah. Weapon revealed. Oh, you mean that? You know, I still don't have the Phi key. Was this open before? I just came from here, didn't I? Yep. That I did. That I did. Oh, there you are. I was like, I just realized I have the Sigma key, but I don't think I've actually gone into the Sigma door. Yeah, so I have to just let them have it even once they've fallen, because otherwise they'll get right back up. I like the sound and look of plasma in Warhammer is very distinct. Like, you look at it and you hear the sounds it makes, the hissing and stuff, and you're like, yep, that's Warhammer plasma, all right. Wait, isn't this? Yeah, it is. Excuse me, do you know the way to town? Yeah, it's back the way you came. Oh, okay. Oh dear. This looks like another purging area. See no storage. Abhorrent entities are not logged. Danger. Suggestion. Private collection. Suggestion. Treachery. Also, I just realized the Exalted Flamer's charge is a bit longer. That's not exactly what I meant to do, but hey, it worked. Has anyone considered trying Open Sesame? Hey, it worked! Alright. Commence activation ritual. No! Oh, what the? Oh, that's very warpish, ain't it? Something I learned was how, yeah, something I learned was another name for the warp in Warhammer is the Immaterium, apparently. It's kind of fun to look at, not gonna lie. No, don't look at it. Ooh. It's really trippy. Honoring Bastion defenders, conducting ritual. Assassin distinction required purification with holy fire. Say no more. Kind of looked like it just shrugged. Look at all these chickens. Yay! First protocol disengaged. Alright. Alright. Now, where was that one route? I think it came from there. This one. Plus there are a few down here. Ah, there's the phi key. After all this time, my gosh. Whoa, that's a lot of you. Anybody else? Oh, you, huh? That's weird. Huh, interesting. So the end result is I loop back around. Interesting. So what was the point of that then? Oh, I was just supposed to purge the place. That's. Oh, and there's this door. Okay. That's. Yep, I knew it. Oh, Lord of Change. That's not the same as Imurah, is it? Because this game does take place immediately after... This game does take place immediately after the... Or seemingly immediately after the first, Space Marine. I was about to say, I feel like we're about due for a boss fight. And, well, here we go. And again, Lord of Change seemed like a title, so maybe this is still pre-Imurah. Why? Yourself. Me don't understand, but hello, E. Did I just have a poison effect? What was that? Oh, hi. Ah! Shoots caboodle. Oh no. Oh, really? That's funny. What timing? Alright, where is this Lord of Change buster? Ah, there you are. Yep, you got a big old pair of wings. I guess that do make you a Zinchi boy. Not to be confused with the Lord of Change, that would be Zinch, but you know. What is hurting me? Like are these pink parts on the ground like actually like are these pink parts on the ground actually like hurting me or something, or is he sending like an invisible projectile, or is just a projectile I'm not noticing? Oh my gosh, he was right there. Aw, darn it. Why do you look like you're wearing clown makeup, my guy? Boy, that loading animation is pretty quick, huh? Maybe what's happening is he's actually got sort of like thorns, as it were, you know, like in Minecraft. Which, if that's the case, well, that's just bloody inconvenient. Alright, Buster, where'd you go? Oh, where'd you go? Oh wait, there it is. I think I saw the projectile finally. Ah! yeah. Maybe I am onto something. Maybe I shouldn't stand on these parts right here when I'm attacking him. Oh, never mind. I guess that doesn't have to do with that after all. I mean, it's not like they ever affected me at all before. Ah! Stop! Come on, baby. No! No! No, 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 no. Oh boy. Oh boy. Ooh. Help! 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 He's almost dead. Got him! Presence reduced. Defeat a Lord of Change. Okay, a Lord of Change. Okay. Yeah. Whoo. I'm pretty beat up. No, no, I didn't come all this way just to be bested by you small potatoes. Hang on. I just quick save. I don't want to do that again. Because I am pretty beat up. Oof. Okay, it's the end of the level. Good. Well, hey. Aw, 98%. Oh well. Sanctum Magistratum. Is there no end to the heresy that pervades this place? Apparently not. The information we seek is here. Be the very walls themselves seem to turn against us. Find what we need before chaos claims it. Aspiring champions must make an offering to resurrect, avoid their damage to deny their ascension. Well, I don't know if that means this is the final level. Which, if it is, it's kind of a short game. But regardless, I'm just going to call it here. So yeah. Yeah, so that was a lot of fun. Had ourselves a boss fight. And a whole bunch of purging moments, which actually I didn't do too badly during, so yay. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. As always, God bless, and hope to see you all next time. Ciao.